All right, what's up, guys? It's winter, so I'm decided to get some upgrades for, not sure if it's upgrades, but it is to me, for the CAADX. So as you can see, it's stock in its stock form. I'm gonna do a quick, just like GRX swap to it. And this is the current weight, so it's sitting at 22 pounds basically. There's a few other things that I want to do, but it's probably not going to be done in today's video. So I'm going to show it off right now. So here are the components. We got the GRX crankset, I believe. It's the 810. So if you know it, you know it. I'm going to unbox it real quick. But yeah, it's been good. Look, it's been a long time coming. I mean, I've been stocking things up, waiting for the right time. So I finally got everything. So I have enough confidence to make the video with everything built in now. So yeah, I'll unbox it as it comes. This is something that I was actually originally gonna do, is you know, do the ETAP deal instead of GRX. But after some thought, it's post mount design. I have a, sorry, I modify it because the box was stuck. A ETAP for a 1x system for the post mount 12-speed AXS SRAM ETAP. So yeah, I'm not gonna go that route. I might just end up putting on another bike or selling it. So we'll see how that goes. But for today, to keep it simple, I'm gonna keep everything mechanical on the CAADX and weigh the difference. I'm assuming I could drop it down to 20 pounds. I mean, it's gonna be a long shot because Shimano parts are not really lightweight, especially the parts that I'm putting on. So it'll be kind of like same level to same level tier. So either way, it'll change the comfort and feel. I do plan on doing heavy duty things with this bike, so it's not gonna end here. And yeah, I'm gonna get to it right now. All right, so I kind of unboxed it already. Kind of go over what I'm gonna put on the bike just as a staple for now. There are some other things I'm gonna throw on later on that's not gonna be explained because it's not important. These are the main things. So obviously you have the GRX 11-speed rear derailleur. You have the front GRX. These are all the 810 series. So I try to get a matching set to match the matching set of what is already on the bike, which is the Ultegra 6800. This is a band-on clamp for the front derailleur because this is a braze-on, so it doesn't have the clamp that goes around the tube section, the seat tube section. So this will go around it, and then this will clamp onto this. And I chose 170 because I am running a Stages power meter as well, and I want it to be adaptive, you know, like universal. So 170 is the goal, and I also like the length. So yeah, I zoomed into this. I'll zoom in again. This is just bottle cages that match the color scheme. I wanted to get some camo, some Cannondale camo bar tape, but I'll wait on it for now because this bike that I got, it's already been serviced, and they already put like a fresh set of bar tape on it. No rush, no worries too. All right, so this is one of the first things I did just to kind of warm up. What I did was I installed the Wolf Tooth double bottle cage, as you see here. So that way I can run the side. These are side cages mount, by the way. So they're facing the drive side. And this is the bottle cage mount in case you wanted to do it. I obviously did not opt for the Torx bolt because I don't think it's necessary. And I've never really liked using these actually. So anyways, yeah, so the way this toe peak pump is it's pretty cool. It's a turbo, one of their turbo mid-size pumps. It's got the gauge, so you can tell your PSI. It obviously doesn't operate on battery or CO2. It's got a hose. It's got a kickstand down here, right there. So you can kind of use a kickstand. The only issue is that mounting it is impossible because it takes over the bottle cage mount. So by doing this, it allows an option to have this on this side, which is good because the bottles are only going to be pulled, you know, on the drive side, the right hand side, and also leaves me room to, you know, put something else here. Like we'll find out what it is. I actually have no plan to put anything, but if I do, I have an option. All right, so I popped out the Ultegra and putting it next to the GRX to kind of show a side-by-side comparison. Obviously, this is like a monster truck compared to this little thing. The reason why I've used this is because I'm going to be running a big cassette, so I'll update as soon as I get there. And obviously, this thing's not going to shift to anything above a 32, which this is going to go to like a 50 if 48 or something like that, but I'll show it when I get there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh it real quick because like I said, originally I wanted to keep it low weight, but I know putting these bigger parts on is not gonna really save weight. So you're looking at about 200 grams for the 6800, and the GRX, it's 250. So yeah, so like I said, it's not going to really be a weight weenie post or build. I'm just excited to kind of have an opportunity to, you know, give this bike a fresh update, ride it for now and see how it turns out. So I'm gonna slap this on real quick. All right, so I just popped this out. I'm gonna weigh it real quick against the GRX, and obviously I'm in a loss because everything's gaining more weight. So let's see. Usually the BB30s are a little bit lighter, so 430, 717 total. So I'm gonna weigh the GRX right now. 717 versus, should be about the same because of the design. Like I said, Shimano's are not really, yeah, pretty much like a little bit lighter, but I'll take the 10 grams. Oh, and forgot, I'm gonna be running the Stages power meter, so I'm gonna do a quick weight difference comparison. So I'm looking at 14 grams lighter, pretty much, just in case I run it. I already swapped the battery, so just gotta put it on. And one last thing I wanted to mention, gear ratio of large chainring on the FSA is 46, small is 36. It's not really helpful for me. I understand people might like that. They actually modified it with a 34, but then I actually understand people don't like that with, or they'll like it cyclocrossing or something, but I'm totally fine with just what comes standard on the GRX, which is a 4831. I prefer a 30, but being that I wanted the larger tooth, the 48, I had to go for this option, and I'll leave it the way it is. All right, so I took out the Ultegra clamp on, and I'm gonna weigh it. So in no particular fashion, 107. And then this is the GRX Brazon 95 with the band on. So it's a little heavier, which is fine. And for some reason, this didn't come with a bolt, so I had to find one in the toolbox to clamp it on right here, which is fine. All right, so this is a BB30 and dub remover. As you can see, it's got the dub labeled, BB29 for the inner bearing diameter for the dub, and 30 for the BB30. So the way this works is you choose the one that you're going to be working on, which in this case it's going to be this one, and then you just thread it onto this inner axle spindle deal, and you align it with this, and then turn it with the bolt, and it'll break out the bearing without smashing it with the hammer. Okay, so once it's threaded on, you just get this tool, adjust the size, give it a spin, and while you're spinning it, you're turning it as well. So I'm going to put the camera down and pop it out. All right, so I popped it out. The bearing's right there. I'll do a live shot. That way you see this in action. It's pretty sturdy. It's pretty easy to use as well. All right, so I got it set to the BB30. I'm gonna kind of unthread it to loosen it up, so it gives it a little room to kind of go between the bearing, the inner diameter. And as soon as I got it all set up, turn it, it'll kind of close off. And right up until it's tight like this. Next step, get this or something like this and just give it a turn. You'll feel it sliding out. So give it a little turn. This beats smacking the bearings out, like how, I mean, I used to do that. So also it doesn't mess up anything like on the insides, doesn't like damage anything if it's a carbon shell or something like that. As you can see, it's out. So that's pretty much it. All right, so next step, I'm gonna prep the bottom bracket. So before I do anything, I'm gonna basically have to clean out the dirt, take out the little snap-on rings, and then I think I'm gonna do a little surprise. So when I get there, I'll get there. All right, so it's pretty much wiped down. Didn't really do a thorough job, but kind of excited to kind of give this bearing a shot. It's a Kogo. I don't know why it's not. There it goes. Kogo bearing. So it's pretty much, I'm going to unbox it right now since I'm already holding it. It's pretty much a BB30 to 24. It's got the GXP spacer deal too. Here it is. The spec based off the little label right here. BB30 to 24. It's going to be used to run the GRX, or in this case, it could go SRAM anytime if you just put this inner sleeve in, because the SRAM has the 22 millimeter on the non-drive side. But regardless, it's right here. It says it non-drive as well. Regardless, I'm gonna use it for the Shimano GRX. So I'm gonna press this in using this tool right here. So I'm gonna get down to it real quick and get it done. All right, so I got it unbagged. As you can see, it's a rolled ceramic. I'm gonna be using for obviously all applications. So that's kind of how it's gonna go in. This side is gonna cup over the smaller inner diameter side. So going to take a peek on the inside without just by eyeballing it, it'll go something like this. So I'm gonna make sure I just kind of get it kind of situated. The main thing is situated with the decal right here. So I'm gonna try to have it like a certain position, so that way, usually preferably I'll do it this way. So when I look, if I'm sitting up at the seat and I look down, I can see this part. I guess it might be like a little, fashion statement or something like that, but get it all lined up and I'll press it on. Okay. So the next step is basically set this up. So before, if I didn't have this tool, I usually just, if I didn't have this press tool, then I would just like literally just use a hammer or a mallet and slowly punch it in. But it's getting to that point in my time where I gotta do things right. So, this is the right way to do it. One last check. Looks pretty spot on. I mean, I'm going just based off eyeball. The way this tool works is it's pretty simple. It's it'll automatically adjust to the size already. So if it's a 24, it'll automatically go down to 24. And then I wanted to kind of thread this handle on this side and just kind of give it a spin, and then it'll eventually just get to the tip and it'll basically go on. So I'm gonna see if I get a better shot of this. All right, so I couldn't really get the best angle, but I got an angle. So I'm gonna use the left hand because this is the side that goes over the cup on the other side, as you saw earlier. And this is gonna be the side that kind of, I think both side goes in at the same time, but I was just gonna turn on this side to kind of give it the guarantee insertion, like the proper insertion. I'm gonna go all the way until it stops, and one last little nudge. I didn't use any anti-seize or anything like that, so I'm hoping I did it right. If not, I would have to redo it again. So I'm totally fine with that though. All right, so next step is to put on the crank. So you can see it's already all prepped. I'll just slide it on. Make sure it goes on the other side. Looks pretty good. And I'm gonna be running the power stages power meter. So this one I've had for a pretty long time. Had it for like maybe 6 years. It's been working good. As you can see, it is the GRX 9000, so it has been a while. And then just pop it on like that. Use this. You know how the rest goes. So I'm gonna put this on and I'm gonna give it a crank spin. All right, so it's on. The bike is not really mounted correctly, but I'm gonna give it a spin anyways, just to kind of see an initial impression. So 1, 2, 3. You know, to me, if it makes more than like 5 revolutions in like a typical like spin, I think that's smooth enough for me. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I'm gonna go to the next step, which is adjusting the front derailleur. All right, so I wanted to add that the front derailleur is installed. I gotta probably adjust it again a bit. I couldn't use this deal because the design of that band on is a little bit different, which is fine. The thing is, I wanted to put a dropper, I mean a chain draw catcher, I meant to say, but I'm missing that bolt, so I'm gonna run it like this for now, and just if I find the bolt or if I feel it's necessary to get a chain dropper, then I'll install it using this, just the SRAM one. All right, so getting down to the cassette, I am deciding to use the 11 to 46. It's a M8000, so it's a XT cassette. I'm gonna be running it with these RX wheels. I reinstalled the tires. It's just a commuter setup, so these have the reflective band along the sidewalls. Yeah, so I'm gonna be running these with the RX wheels. So if you notice, I'm trying to make everything kind of like a matching set. That's probably why I didn't want to go with the ETAP, even though the ETAP is pretty superior in my opinion. But yeah, either way, the downside with the ETAP though is that it's only a mid cage, so it doesn't go to a 48 like this, or 46 like that crazy cassette right there you see. So it's gonna run I'm gonna be running a crazy cassette setup, and I'm gonna give more input as I finish up. All right, and because this is a quick release setup, I wanted to kind of the tightest possible quick release, I guess. I decided to try the DT Swiss because I had the 15mm through axle and the 10mm through axle ones, and pretty good experience with them. And plus, you can adjust this this end deal and make it look match with whatever position it's in while it remains locked. Moving on, so I'm gonna weigh it real quick. Moving on to the weight, these are a little heavier, so like I said, everything's not really a weight post. I can make this bike light, but I'm not gonna really focus on that today. So you're looking at pretty much over 100 grams for those two, and I'm gonna be running the the Ultegra rotors right here. So I had the Ice Tech ones, and I didn't really have a good experience with the XTR Ice Tech. They were flimsy. They're the first generation old stuff, but they're pretty flimsy. So sometimes when I hit brakes, it'll bend the rotor, I guess, which is kind of annoying. So I'm hoping I get better experience with the Shimano. It was it's about 110 grams. So with the lock ring, I think I have the lock ring somewhere, but either way. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this on and do all the adjustments and then update in a bit. After the adjustment, it's nice and smooth again. All right, so I'm gonna slap on this chain because this one, it's much too short, and it was designed for the 46, 34, 11 to 26 or 28, whatever cassette. So it's much too short. Obviously, I'm gonna want to hit this big old 46 too, so I'm gonna use a new chain. So I get it lined up and I just snap it with this. It'll pop out. Okay, so in order to make it go to the 46, I totally forgot to mention, you got to get the wolf tooth bolt right here. You notice it's already gonna fit basically right here for this part right here. It's a longer length and it's gonna extend the cage to the 46 teeth. All right, so here I am in the dark room. So this is a XTR, this is a GRX hanger. So in order to make it work, you would have to run the XTR. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap this out with the XTR. I'm gonna put everything back. And I'm gonna put the GRX with the XTR because it's only used for my TT bike. So I'm gonna basically show you guys what I mean. So this is the DI2. So pretty much it's just gonna go back to where it belongs right here with the GRX, and then I'm gonna bring the XTR back in and do the modification. All right, so time to put the XTR piece on and combine it with the GRX mechanic over here. All right, so time to slap it on right like this, and then just install it basically. All right, so I'm gonna do the install. Basically, slap it on. Should fit. All right, there it goes. There's a lot of tension from the cable still, so even though it's slightly loosened. Tighten this up. A lot of extra work. Okay, so, and I didn't really tighten it all the way down, which is fine. I wanted to kind of move around like how you just saw right there. Okay, so I'm gonna, so because it was an XTR bracket right here from a GRX, it sits more like, let's use the word horizontal, whereas the GRX kind of turned a little bit slightly downwards. So if you look at it clockwise, 12 o'clock's right here where this eyelets at. This is more like 9 o'clock. The GRX kind of set at an angle, a pivot angle, like maybe 7, 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's gonna basically matter. So as you can see, the chain line is already, this is a 118 link chain. So it's actually straight now. I did not cut anything. Before with the GRX, it was all sloppy. I didn't show a video of it, I don't think, but it was all sloppy, but now it's straight. So that matters because the extra 118 links is what I need to get to that big one. So I would have to probably recut this cable here because it's all too long now in this case. So I'm gonna cut it and then I'm gonna readjust the cables. Alright, so I pretty much got it all set up. I'm gonna tighten up the bolt and give it a tune up again. And like I said, the chain looks really good already. 118 links. It's kind of what I imagine would take to get to this 46. And like I said, it'll be worth it at the end because 46 is a kind of like a bailout gear, but at the same time, it's over excessive for this kind of bike. It's more like a mountain bike cassette, obviously, but you know, just imagine having that gear with a 31. I don't know, but I've done a few hacks, obviously, on my you know, on my previous videos, and you know, I was able to run even a 48/22. So the chain line was really slack because it was really slack. But in this case, it looks pretty good. Let's see here. Let me try to zoom out. So all in all, I'm gonna tune it right now without any edits. So you'll see it turn. That's the keyboard there. Sorry, I gotta stop it because I gotta make sure this thing gets out of the way, and I gotta make sure it's able to hit that big 46 tooth. So this will be probably one of the last things I do before I just show the finishing touch to the bike, because it's a pretty longer video than I thought. So the XTR bracket deal worked pretty good in converting the GRX to working. So don't want to do this too much, so gonna just try to make sure it touches, and that's it. All right, there it goes. It's gonna need a few more adjustments with this bolt. There it goes. I think this is more than enough. I just want to make sure it's okay. All right. All right, so everything's set. The cable, I'm gonna leave it like this for now. I can always cut it and, you know, fix it basically. So I'm gonna start from the largest gear, which is the 46 tooth, and I'm gonna go all the way down to the 11. Keep in mind I'm on the 31 teeth at the front. It's a 2x system. So one click takes me down to 40, I think it was like 40 or 42. Another click, another click, another click, another click. And last gear. So I'm gonna brake. I'm gonna make it go all the way back to the top real well. Yeah, pretty quick basically. Just do it real quick. Okay, so there you have it. Pretty much a hack in this case. So using the, like I mentioned, the wolf tooth link bolt, I mean, you could buy it on the websites for like probably $2 or something. I had to convert it to the XTR bracket right here. I don't know why it looks the same, but like I mentioned earlier, the XTR sits at, if you were to look at it like a clock, 12 o'clock is the eyelet. This sits kind of like at a 9 o'clock angle, where the GRX would sit like more like a 7 or 8 o'clock. It did, like I mentioned earlier, this is 118 links, so it did prevent, or it did fix the slack of the chain. It did fix it. And here, let me take this off so I can kind of explain everything. Okay, so it did fix the slack, and then of course it goes all the way to the 2x system in the front right here. It's the sticker. I gotta peel it off. It's making that noise. Yeah, so it's not perfect, but it works. I can do a little more tweaking, but it's looking like this bolt's like hitting max already right here. Where's it at? Right there. Looks like it's hitting max, so I would kind of just leave it be and just run with it like this for now. Obviously, if things do fail or if things does happen, I'll update. As of right now, I've had no issues with any of my bike mods that I've done. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to go give it a test ride or weigh it out. It probably weighs, like I said, it's not a weight weenie. So originally it was 22.3 or something. It's probably 20, the same weight or maybe even more, which I'm totally fine with because I can easily, I know I can make this weigh like 20 pounds because I have the parts for it, but I just wanted to kind of make it like a workhorse. Workhorse meaning that there's gonna be more updates on this bike. So as you can see, it's got the eyelet. So I imagine putting a rack on it already and, doing some things with it. I just put the 28C Specialized Infinity tires right here. I just put them on just because of the visibility it gives. Besides that, I have like other tires already, like road tires and all that. These are tubeless wheels. Obviously, it's got tubes. I can always go that route as well. So yeah, like every small things I can do is gonna make it drop a few grams here and there. Ultimately, I'm gonna leave all these stock stems and handlebars on. I'll probably flip this one in the picture you'll see at the end. And yeah, that's it. So I'll just finish off and kind of put whatever else I need to put on it and call it a day. All right, I found some leftover bolts. I'm gonna put it on right now. It's, like I said, the CAADX. It's got the hole right here on the fork. It's not for rim brake. It's just for like eyelets, like fenders and all that. So I'm gonna use it for the light as a hack. All right, so here is the final weight. So as you can see, it kind of going up and down because it's wobbly. 23.9, so it did gain about 23, let's see, about 0.6 pounds, but considering that earlier it had nothing on, now it has GRX, fenders, cages, pump, rear, front and rear fenders, large cassette, large derailleur, it's pretty much, the weight kind of remained plus or minus, but either way, it's expected. And yeah, pretty excited for it. And I'm gonna show off the light, finish it off by showing off the light accessory that I installed, and that's it. All right, so this is kind of the initial purpose of this modification, build, and the way it's gonna ride, basically. Pretty excited about it. Yeah, like I said, the light bracket, it does clear over here. It looks like it doesn't, but it is what it is. I'm using whatever I got in my storage. And the lights, the max capacity right now, 1200 lumens. So this will be kind of like the commute setup to kind of get by. And also, can swap out the tires at any time, do whatever, cyclocross, gravel. Yeah, so it's got the 4831 and 11 through 46 overkill, but it will be useful when it's time to go out there. So yeah, other than that, should be it.